wrong. Sora is evil as the devil, and what convinced me that Sora is the worst thing to ever happen to the planet was everything was trucking along fine.
Yeah.
I'm sharing my cameos.
Right.
Everybody's playing Let's Pretend with their action figures.
Then you started thinking about the environmental impact.
No. Although I did get into a fight with my daughter about the environmental impact again.
Oh, you started thinking about how it throw people out of jobs.
No, because, no. It's creative destructions. It's very clear that there's an entire new strata.
You mean that thing
that
guy won a Nobel Prize for today? Creative destruction.
Was it today? Today?
Yeah.
Oh,
today or yesterday, depending on where on the planet.
No, I think it was yesterday. But again, it's not that, because that's not a problem.
So what made you turn against evil Sora?
There are bad actors out there, Tom.
Yeah.
Did you know that Sora?
I mean, I think Kevin Bacon's okay, but
did you know that Sora can be made to make you believe lies like this?
Pineapple on pizza is a game changer. That little pop of sunshine, the sweetness
I saw that one.
tangy tomato sauce and salty cheese,
that one.
it works.
You know,
just look at it. Golden chunks, caramel.
I'm not saying I have favorite friends, but I will say I made Justin Robert Young eat mayonnaise like the third video I made on Sora.
I thought it was kind of funny when I saw it with Justin. Suddenly not funny. Suddenly Sora, bad actor.
Yeah. This would be like, and I fully expect to see this the minute I'm done with this show, me saying how much I love cake over pie.
Wait, are you? Oh, you're a pie guy.
I don't really like cake that much.
What? Okay,
I'll eat it.
How am I to get you? I will say that boy, oh boy, am I excited about all of Chat Realm's finest showing up on Sora. It's getting really fun and funny in there.
You know what? I've been using it less though. I always hit this point with any social network. So this isn't a judgment factor for it, but with any social network, I hit that point where I'm like, oh, it's starting to feel like I have to pick it up. And then I rebel against my own authority and like, well, I'm not going to.
And then you look at it and then you see the wonderful, hilarious daydreams that other people have. And
No. It's just, I'll pick it up and I'll look at it and I'll enjoy it. And then I'll put it back down versus when I first picked it up, I was like, I can't stop. This is amazing. So yeah, we should talk about this more on After Talk.
Well, I did place one email in there that will give us an opportunity to briefly touch on it. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Shall we then begin this great adventure that we embark on every week?
Let's make sure to remind everyone of what we do.
Like on the show or now?
In the show. No, or maybe now. For everybody on the live stream, everybody watching this after the fact live, do me a favor. Make it appointment viewing every Tuesday around this time. Two things happen. First of all, great night. That'll be happening later on. That'll be at the Backspin Bar. And more importantly, right now, Cord Killers. By golly, it turns out that Tom Merritt and I know a thing or two about the changing shape. Tom, you do the words.
Yeah. I do words for pro. That's what I do.
Yeah. Okay. We can't both be the dipshit, Tom. Come on.
No, let's try it. Maybe this time it'll work.
No, I already do one great night.
No, seriously. Brian and I have been covering the cord cutting revolution before it was even a thing. We've been covering it since the only story was, well, Netflix exists. And so we've been following this whole thing the whole time. And every week we sit down to compare notes on where we are in the world of streaming video and being able to choose what you want and being able to watch what you want, where you want, when you want, all that good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, I say we should do a show, sir.
Let's do it then. 3, 3, 2. Welcome to Cord Killers Reckoning. Someone killed all the cords, and Brian and I are just trying to figure out who did it. We're all trying to figure out who killed the Cords. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Yeah, dude. And boy, oh boy, I'm going to claim it was a Sora video that caused me to be dressed up as a hot dog as we kept asking. We're all trying to find the ones who killed the Cords. But I know this much. I know that we, of course, want to watch what we want, when we want, on whatever dang device we please. It's been our credo that may or may not have led to a cord-killing revolution 15 years ago.
15 years we've been doing this, and finally it happened.
And we're
They're
just
all
getting
dead.
started, man.
Heck yeah. In fact, now we're killing the things that killed the Cords. That's our first story in the supply run.
Supply run, supply run, supply run.
A legend has fallen. TiVo is no more. Now, you may have thought that was already the case, and you'd be forgiven for that. But here's the statement from TiVo that came out last week. As of September 30th, 2025, TiVo will stop selling Edge DVR products, including hardware and accessories, both online and through agents. TiVo and its partners no longer manufacture TiVo DVR hardware, and our remaining inventory is now depleted. TiVo did say it remains committed to providing support for DVR customers and will continue to provide support for the foreseeable future. So if you have a TiVo and you pay for the service, they're not cutting you off. They're just not making any new ones of you. TiVo claims that video consumption by TiVo device users equals more than 5 billion hours per year across more than 3.6 billion devices and vehicles, because they also make software. That seems to be where they're pivoting towards for managing content in automobiles.
Tom, I am not going to lie. I understand that the world moves on, much like Stephen King wrote in his great documentary, The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Look, man, I wish it could be an endless summer of TiVo. I fondly remember my DVC 2000 from Sony, a Generation 1 TiVo that I hacked in order to get a larger than, I think, 20-hour hard drive on there.
Yeah, right.
I still have my first appearance of The Tonight Show on there. I still have my first appearance from The Roseanne Show. TiVo was amazing in a synchronized world. It was the first program. It essentially created a version of podcasting. Have you thought about this? Because there was always one program that was available on the TiVo main menu, and I couldn't understand how it got on there. What it did was, with the dial-up connection, it knew that in every single market, there would be some cheapest amount of programming. And so asynchronously, the TiVo would tune in at 3:30 in the morning to some podunk channel that it knew you got, and it would get the TiVo guide video of that month on there. This is late 90s, Tom. Does this predate video podcasting?
Yeah, it would. Well, audio podcasting arguably started in 2004. So yeah, it definitely does. I mean, there are arguments for there are other predecessors to podcasting, but sure, TiVo arguably one of them for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't predate RSS, but it does. It is a predecessor of a sort.
It was fully asynchronous video. The distribution method, the distribution method was completely independent of the broadcast time and slot. And I remember sometime in the mid-aughts wondering, I guess you could just have a really weird show at a really weird time, and then word of mouth could spread and people could tune in for it, even though they weren't up at whatever time or didn't even get, I guess they would have to get that channel.
Yeah. No, it's funny. If this, I feel like if that story were now, every reporting, all the reporting on it would be about how TiVo automatically records a show without your permission. What a privacy violation, right? Because that's basically what it was doing. You had to approve every other recording, but it was just like, we're just going to record that one for you.
No, and it was brilliant. And on top of that, did you ever avail yourself of its groundbreaking discovery engine? Like, there was a time, I remember it was John Stossel, whose Emmy I have right there, and Jack Black, where before before anyone knew who Jack Black was, I hand typed their names in the searches because in the TV Guide info, when people were doing, whether it's the daytime talk show or the late night talk shows, or maybe somebody subbed in as a guest here and again, but that it would automatically record those programs and show them up. So it was YouTube algorithm before there was a YouTube algorithm.
Before there was a YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
I remember going into a Best Buy to buy a TiVo and being told by the Best Buy employee, you don't want to buy TiVo. It's going out of business. This was in 2000. And I said, not till October 2025. It's not, sir. No, I said, what do you mean? He's like, Ultimate TV from Microsoft is going to drive it out of the market.
Oh my God. I do remember that was a competition.
Yeah. And really tried to get me to buy an Ultimate TV. I'm like, did he get commission? I don't know. Best Buy had that aggressive commissions, but maybe they just were encouraging people to push the Ultimate TVs for whatever reason. But yeah, my first TiVo was actually a Direct TiVo. It was the DirecTV TiVo that you got with your DirecTV subscription that DirecTV branded itself, but bought from TiVo so that it could, I don't know, control the data better or work better with the satellite signal or whatever. But it was great. And then there was a big kerfuffle when DirecTV decided to make its own DVR, and it made everybody give up their DirecTVos and replace them for free with DirecTV DVRs that weren't the same as TiVo. And I remember going and buying a TiVo and then plugging it in and using it separately because the DirecTV TiVo just wasn't any good.
Well, and obviously, I think sadly, the bulk of the TiVo experience was for fully half of its life. It was, everyone thought it was dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, God bless him for trying to keep it alive. Really, it was an unbelievable hack at an unfathomably interesting time. The golden age of television exactly corresponded with the golden age of TiVo. And that, I don't know, I've got all the warm fuzzies on that.
The ability to pause live television was the magic thing that it marketed itself on, but it was actually the least compelling thing about TiVo. And it was a brilliant execution of marketing to say, look at this magic trick I'm going to perform in 2000, right? I'm going to press a pause button on this live football game, right? This isn't a VCR recording I made. This is the live broadcast, and I can pause and I can go to the bathroom, and then I come back, and when I get to the commercials, I can fast forward and catch up. That was sort of useful, but then once people got it, they were like, oh, you mean I don't have to program a VCR? I can just tell it, record all the episodes of The Tonight Show, record all the episodes of Lost, record all the episodes of ER, and they'll just be there for me. And if I want, it can record things like we were talking about that it thinks I might like based on the other things I'm recording. Before streaming came along, that was the best way to watch television. Starting
a show 15 minutes late, I had totally forgotten about that brief cultural phenomenon in my life where it's like, no, let it buffer. Then that way we'll be able to skip the ads and so on.
Yeah. And then there was the 30-second skip, which was a commercial skip that they had to rebrand so that TV studios didn't get upset at them for having a commercial skip. If you are wondering what TiVo is doing now, it plans to pursue a quiet life in the country with its family.
It's keeping up with its stories and its books.
TiVo, the company, has tried to market an operating system for set-top boxes, which would be the natural thing, right? Like, if you love TiVo managing your live television, now I have TiVo managing magic. Oh, right? Like,
I think I just screwed up the stream. I think I just tried to be helpful and then I took you off. Go ahead. That's what you were saying.
Oh no, no one on audio noticed until now. The TiVo DVR functionality is not something you need because it's in the cloud, right? It comes with Netflix. You don't have to set it to record Netflix shows, right? It just happens. So there really wasn't any big advantage to someone buying a TiVo box or getting the TiVo OS. Now, not for lack of trying. TiVo tried to convince companies like we're better at guide information and metadata and collecting data and all of that, but they don't seem to have really made a whole lot of headway there. It does seem like their ability to manage content is the sauce that is still valuable, and apparently most valuable to car companies, where TiVo software is now used in your entertainment system on cars to manage, podcasts and apps and things like that.
Am I right? TiVo at one point was using WebOS, the orphaned WebOS. Is that right?
That was LG. Did TiVo ever use WebOS?
Sorry, that was a stray thought.
Let me Google that for you. No, TiVo never used the WebOS system.
Okay, then I'm thinking about something else.
That was LG. LG is the one that took that.
But you mentioned one thing that was a curious artifact was the legal entanglements that happened because of DVRs. Once agreements started to specifically mention DVRs, then you got weird knock-on effects, like, for example, Aereo's attempt to create a very kludgy universal DVR,
right,
with claiming that they had, no, all of these are individual antennas that are going to individual DVRs. We're not just rebroadcasting anyone else's stuff.
Yeah. So TiVo is survived by its pivot to automotive is what I would say. Don't weep for TiVo. Car companies pay a lot of money for stuff, so maybe it'll do just fine and probably be rebranded to Automo or something. And you'll be like, hey, that's actually what TiVo used. That's the company that used to be called TiVo. But we'll see. I still wouldn't count them entirely out of the smart TV business. They might be able to come up with something. It's still a competitive space. As dominant as Roku is, it hasn't shut down other possibilities. We're also, getting indications that a new Apple TV is coming. So maybe that'll shake things up. Maybe that'll make some space for TiVo. But does seem like automotive is probably where it's going.
Yeah. And not for nothing. One last sweet spot that TiVo hit is right product, right time, right environment, but also what a master stroke of design. Everything from the sound to the interface, the 1, 2, 3 speed up, the nature of the baloop,
yeah,
and even the feeling of that TiVo button right there in the middle. What a remarkable launch it had, and just the world. This world wasn't good enough for it. Yeah. Unfortunately,
it is the Atari of the Y2K era. It was dominant in its space. It is an iconic brand that probably will come back as a zombie brand in some way someday. But it is very much of its time.
Yeah.
What is timeless, however, is cord killers.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to the unflappable support of everybody who shows up here live.
None of you flap, not even once.
You know what? None of you are able to flap. We've tried. We've seen you in person. We say, give me that chicken wing. And what do? You stand there stoically, stolid.
As if you don't understand what we're asking.
Yeah. You're unflappable, and it drives us nuts. But we do appreciate your support. We love every single one of you guys. Head on over to patreon.com/cordkillers, keeping us loud, live, and independent. Look, we've been having conversations. Guys, we're beginning to think that over a 15-year stretch, some inflation happened. And technically, that means you guys have given us a pay cut over the year. $1 an episode doesn't go as long as it used to. So now we would like to actually earn a place in your heart. Some of you guys have been listening for a very, very long time. You've appreciated that we've been able to evolve over the years, and you look forward to many, many years of adventures. In order to make that happen, one little thing, just go to patreon.com/cordkillers. You're going to sign up. You're never, ever going to notice it. And when you do notice it, you will always feel good, even if you don't like what Brian's saying this week, which I know is probably most weeks. But even when I'm saying something you don't like, you're going to be proud that you're keeping independent creators alive, literally alive, and in the business, providing value for the value you receive. And we thank every single one of our patrons at patreon.com/cordkillers.
On to the search party. New York City. Get a Comic-Con. Well, they did, and they had it this weekend, and we got our first proper look at the upcoming Wonder Man series. They also showed season 2, or announced season 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, set for release in the fall of 2026. X-Men 97 is also going to get a second season, set to premiere in the summer of 2026. Daredevil Born Again will come back in March, and a third season has confirmed to be in the works. The video they showed at New York Comic-Con featured Kristen Ritter back as Jessica Jones, also Foggy. I'm not sure how, if you've watched Daredevil, but there he was. And Vision Quest is now scheduled to close out the storyline that began with WandaVision, again, sometime next year, 2026.
These all sound, number one, these all sound like good shows. Most of them are in the bucket of original season 1s that I intend to finish. I'm looking at you, Daredevil Born Again. I'm looking at you, X-Men 97. And I'm looking at you, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I actually fell off after the third or fourth episode of that. So when I hear that there's another, I wanted to say volume, book, whatever.
Yeah, right.
TV shows are more like books these days. But it's like, that's a good mark of faith that tells me that I'll get around to watching all y'all.
Yeah. And it gives you encouragement to know. I think that's one of the reasons they like to announce these renewals even before a new season comes out, to be like, don't worry, you're not going to finish this season and get left on the hook. We're going to keep them coming.
Well, and this is a 30-second side jag here. This is one of the themes that we cover that I cover in World's Greatest Con, is that need to not be the sucker is so primal, because while yes, it does take courage to create art, it takes courage to consume art unironically and to love having done it. And there are some people who are so guarded and shielded that, for example, they hear about, there's going to be a live adaptation of their favorite comic book or movie or whatever, and they're guarded. They're like, don't do that. And what they're really saying is I'm afraid. And so by announcing releases like this, they're relaxing. They're like, you don't got to be afraid. It's not going anywhere. You can get into it. We're in it for the long haul, even if sometimes they're not in it for the long haul.
They could always change their mind, right? Like, it doesn't mean they're in it for the long haul. Paramount also announced a bunch of Star Trek stuff. Star Trek Starfleet Academy will debut with its first 2 episodes on January 15th. It stars Holly Hunter as the Chancellor of Starfleet Academy. Stephen Colbert will voice Starfleet Academy's Digital Dean of Students. He's basically the radar of Starfleet Academy, giving the daily announcements. We also have Tig Notaro. We mentioned that. She's coming back from Discovery. Robert Picardo plays a hologram, but not the Doctor hologram. And Star Trek Strange New Worlds was also on a panel, and they showed a first look clip from the show's upcoming 4th season. Speaking of, Strange New Worlds has been renewed for a 5th and final season. So the 4th season coming up, and then there'll be a 5th season, and then that will be it.
Okay. So Starfleet, you watched this trailer, right?
The Starfleet Academy one? Yeah.
Yeah. How did you like it, Tom?
I can't tell how much Star Trek Discovery they want me to think it is, and how much not Star Trek Discovery. It feels like they want the Star Trek Discovery fans to feel at home, because they got Tig Notaro, and they have, I'm blanking on her name, but one of the other characters from Discovery will have an appearance, won't be a series regular. But they're also, I think, also trying to show us, like, but it'll be different. If you didn't like Star Trek Discovery, don't worry. We've got some adventure and unusual twists, and it's not just going to be all preaching at you the whole time. Trust us.
Yeah, okay. I've been accused of disliking things for the wrong reasons. And I'm sure people are right. Oftentimes I get in my head, oh, what would be neat is if, and then it doesn't turn out to be that. And then I get accused of being a bad person. Boy,
And
oh boy.
trust
did I
us,
want.
Brian is a bad person, but not because of that.
Exactly. There was one moment that I really dug, and it was the hayseed moment when it's like, is that thing going to take us to the school? That thing is the school.
It is the school.
In that moment, I thought, oh, crap. Is that what this show's going to be? And then I was disappointed by everything after because they're like, no, it's 75
No,
other
we're
things.
in the Presidio in San Francisco, which actually I like that part. As someone who used to live in San Francisco and was, like, ooh, I'm at Starfleet headquarters right now. I like that it has that consistency, and it has the like mystery student who they had to go find, and we're gonna figure out who killed your mother, and I'm like, okay, that could be good. That adds a little air of mystery to it. I'm okay with that. That at least makes sure we have a plot, which Star Trek Discovery couldn't settle on one for like 3 or 4 seasons. So it doesn't mean they won't change it, I guess, but it's a decent plot. But then parts of it really felt like it was just going to tell me how great the ideals of Starfleet are, which I'm fine with, but I know, like, you've got plenty of seasons of Star Trek, the original series, Next Generation, etc., to tell me that. Either tell me it in a different way, which I suppose the trailer isn't enough to judge, or do what Strange New Worlds or Lower Decks or somebody else is doing and just assume that and play with it and give me interesting stories to illuminate it rather than talking about it.
Yeah, this sometimes a trailer is able to do such a good job that you can fake your way into explaining what it is without having seen the rest of it, right? Like, for example, I don't know, pick your favorite trailer. This one, I feel like, didn't quite do it. I couldn't tell you what this is outside of, is it Starfleet babies? Is it, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the murder mystery of the new student and Holly Hunter's character's role in it and other people. And maybe that's the trailer, right? Maybe the other people have really compelling stories we'll find out in future trailers, or maybe we should just shut up and wait and watch the first episode and see if we like that or not. Yeah. We also got a trailer for Netflix's Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Death Watch animated series coming October 14th. This was written by Derek Kolstad, who was the writer and creator of the John Wick series.
I was a bit surprised that there was a Splinter Cell property that I hadn't heard of. And then I opened up the trailer and it was a cartoon. And I was like, that makes sense now. But then I thought to myself, okay, what is animated good at doing? And sometimes it's spectacle. This one doesn't appear to be a spectacle play, but I don't think it needs to be, because Splinter Cell was a revolutionary game in that it was the first stealth fighter that I had ever encountered, where it's like creeping very slowly. I think narratively they could really make this land with high stakes, watching characters slowly walk past each other can feel riveting, but you got to do some really good narrative gymnastics on that.
We also got a trailer for the limited series Amadeus from Sky Television, starring Will Sharp as Mozart and Paul Bettany as Salieri. We don't know where this one is going to land worldwide. NBC is in charge of selling it, but that doesn't mean it'll land at Peacock. It could, but it doesn't guarantee it.
Tom, I had never watched the movie Amadeus.
Oh, really?
Yes, but I am loosely familiar with what it is. I got to tell you, I'm thrilled. I think part of the reason that I haven't wanted to get into Amadeus is because I don't know how much there is there. But the idea of a series long, like, it's intrigue. I know it's about somebody punching above their station who just keeps having the talent and the system wants to keep him down. A lot about this that is attractive to somebody who created the modern rogue.
Well, Will Sharp playing the Mozart character, the character who maybe undeservedly gets the credit, but also kind of a genius, so maybe deservedly, but everybody hates him. And Salieri's like, I'm just as good, or at least I'm almost as good. Why does he get all the credit? Yeah, you're going to love this story. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Duolingo is collaborating with animation studio Titmouse to create an anime series.
Go on. I want to hear more about this.
It's sometimes after doing this for 15 years, you're like, that's not one I would have predicted.
It's like I didn't know that you could roll 3 crits in a row.
Exactly. The 60-second episode series is designed to promote its updated Japanese courses. That's why it's anime, which are now available to learners in all languages. It expands the lore of Duo, the owl, and his friends, reveals their origin story before they became guardians of your Duolingo streak, and you can start watching them on October 13th on the Duolingo YouTube channel.
I think that's kind of neat, but I don't know.
I mean, they're commercials. They're commercials for Duolingo, but they're kind of fun. So maybe it's worth watching. I don't know that I'll take the time to go seek it out, is the thing. But if they showed up in my algorithm, I guess I'd watch it. Only 60 seconds. Also, I was at Streaming Media Conference last week. Shout out to Andy Beach, friend of the show, who runs that conference. It was a great conference, and everyone was talking about short form video. Everybody was talking about, small 60-second to 10-minute short form videos and platforms and how to tell them, small budgets, but high production value. So I don't know, maybe Duolingo is ahead of the game there.
Yeah.
George Clooney says that Ocean's 14's budget has been approved at Warner Brothers, and they hope to start filming in about 9 or 10 months. Each version of Ocean's makes less money than the previous version. Ocean's 11, the remake of the Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. movie, earned $450 million. Ocean's 12, $362 million. Ocean's 13, $311 million. Now, granted, all movies make less, so maybe that's on track.
Yeah, man, I'm curious. The button works less every time you press it, but then at some point it's like, well, do we not want 200 million?
I mean, we can still press the button, right? Yeah. First plot details are out for Rachel Sennett's HBO series I Love LA. There is a trailer. It introduces Sennett as Maya, a staffer at a talent management company, trying to get a promotion when her old frenemy Tallulah shows up out of nowhere. Tallulah is a social media influencer, so it's established Hollywood versus new creators. Premieres on November 2nd. Episodes will drop weekly until the finale December 21st.
Tom, I don't know that a pitch could be written to build a steeper uphill climb for Brian Brushwood than this, but I hope it's great.
Well, the independent creator tries to take down the existing system, which annoys her best friend.
I agree. You know what, Tom? There was a wise person. Last time Brian was talking this way was about a little show called Friday Night Lights. And you know what he said? He said, I lived it. I was in a small Texas town that worshiped at the altar of football. Why? I hate it with everything in my being. Why would I want to watch it? And you said, because of that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's exactly the
and
case.
Actually, that's why I'm going to say you will hate this. In this case, because Tallulah is definitely portrayed as the bad person in the trailer, and it's all about Gen Z young millennials. It's not the story you've lived.
Okay.
So you're going to look at it and why are these young people making all these stupid mistakes?
Yeah.
As old people do. Apple is partnering with Spectrum Sportsnet to stream select LA Lakers NBA games directly to the Apple Vision Pro starting in early 2026. Games will be filmed in the Apple Immersive Video format. That's the same style the company used to capture the Metallica concert film that it released earlier this year. You'll need to subscribe to Spectrum Sportsnet LA, or actually just Spectrum Sportsnet, to watch the 5 games. But Apple does say full replays and highlights will be accessible in select countries and regions from both the Sportsnet and NBA apps without needing the subscription.
This is interesting. This is an interesting proxy for, as we talk about AI video more and more on this program, as more official AI video releases are going to be used. This is a good bellwether kind of test case, a canary in the coal mine Because my theory is no matter how excellent the experience, no matter how awesome the holodeck is, ultimately, if you spend time in there too long, you realize that you are sitting alone. And I suspect that all humans want is to connect with other humans. And in this case, the Apple Vision Pro experience of a sporting event is going to be the highest fidelity, just shy of being there. And I suspect that people will not want to do that, but instead will watch a very low fidelity version of the game at their local sports bar if they could do it with other people.
Spoken like an extrovert. The Minecraft movie sequel has been confirmed for July 23rd, 2027. No surprise there. Minecraft was so damn successful, they're going to make another one.
Yeah, dude. Bring diapers, I guess. I told you that somebody pooped at the theater. Minecraft, the TikTok trend was be a real piece of work over the top at one point during the Minecraft movie. And locally, they had to call the cops because somebody pooped at the theater.
I am so sorry for all of you, including the person who pooped. Bridgerton season 4 will come in 2 phases next year on Netflix. First 4 episodes will poop out on January 29th, 2026, and the remaining 4 drop on February 26th, 2026.
Yeah. You like Bridgerton, right?
I watched the first season and enjoyed it.
And that's all we have to say about that.
I mean, I just never watched the second season, so I can't really have an opinion.
Yeah.
Angel Studios is getting the party started earlier on the United States sesquicentennial. It has unveiled its trailer.
Sesquicentennial.
Sesquicentennial is 150.
Which we both know.
Semi-quincentennial is 250. Yes.
Yeah, we both know 150 because Texas in 1986 had this sesquicentennial.
Yeah, Greenville had its sesquicentennial in 1973. That's how I know it. The distributor has unveiled its first trailer for Young Washington, a biopic about the early life of a young George Washington decades before he became commander of the Continental Army and, of course, the first president of these United States of America. Tickets have been on sale for months. This is the earliest most movies have ever put their tickets on sale. Comes to theaters July 3rd, 2026, just a few days after Minions 3. And they are marketing it with patriotism, saying that it will be the 150th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and you need to make this the #1 movie in celebration of that on July 3rd, 2026. Who is with me, Brian?
I suspect that the comp on this one would be
Brian's
like...
not very patriotic, is it?
Sorry, I'm just trying to think of the tactical play here. This feels like the comp would be maybe the Left Behind series or something religious, essentially. I'd be interested to see. Yeah. That's all I got.
And we still got the wrong. I still said 150 when I meant 250. Yeah.
Ha!
Damn it. Taylor Swift announced 2 projects for Disney Plus: a full concert film, The Eras Tour: The Final Show. She already has the Eras Tour film on Disney Plus. This will be a recording of the last concert of the Eras Tour.
Brilliant.
During the Eras Tour, she put out an album, which means you will get songs in this version that are not in the other version. There's also a 6-episode docuseries about the making of the tour, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Both of those will arrive on December 12th.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Did you know that Taylor Swift's new album has 12 songs on it, and all 12 songs are the top 12 on the Billboard chart this week?
Today I learned the Billboard chart is still very relevant. Yeah.
You know who else is relevant? The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon. And Jimmy Fallon's production company is involved in NBC's pilot of a TV version of Wordle. Not hosted by Jimmy Fallon, hosted by Savannah Guthrie. Nothing says hit like a broadcast network partnering with a newspaper to make a TV show about a word game.
Yeah, I don't know though. Wordle still has some sauce that's magic. I don't know. It might work.
There have been crazier things happen, for sure. Like, I imagine Wheel of Fortune sound dumb when they first paraded it in front of somebody, and it's still going to this day.
Scrabble was punched above its weight.
Yeah,
Chuck Woolery's Scrabble.
Definitely. All right, let's move on to the buried treasure.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
The Buried Treasure segment is where we talk about something we've been watching to help you make better use of your television. Brian, what have you been watching?
I'm going to see if I can find the exact creator who did it. Yeah, here we go. The Thrifty Typewriter. I ended up watching his revisit of Westworld. It's called Westworld, HBO's Biggest Failure, Part 1. And what I didn't expect to watch the whole thing, but I got most of the way through it. I forgot how good season 1 of Westworld was and how much potential it had and how
that's why you were so disappointed with how it went, because you liked it so much at the beginning, right?
Well, and exactly. And he rightly points out that they saved nothing for the swim back after season 1. And that was very important, very, very clear when at the beginning of season 2, they're like, what do we got? We still got Maeve. Remember how she kind of liked her kid memory? Question mark.
She's cool, right?
Yeah. And it did kind of fall off from that. But what was interesting was the mild opportunity to speculate about whether or not the window for that level of prestige television had just come and gone for HBO in general. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
and this is on YouTube, you said?
Yeah. Just type Westworld, HBO's Biggest Failure, and it's the Thrifty Typewriter.
Thrifty Typewriter. Very cool. I'm just going to report a little more on, because I've been watching a lot of the baseball playoffs and the hockey season has started. So I've been watching some hockey. I can't wait for ESPN's engineers to get the resources and approvals they need to redesign the ESPN app for the fact that you can watch everything in it now.
Oh no! So they got the rights, but the spirit is willing, but the app is weak.
And to be fair, it always had the ability to watch everything because you could authenticate with your cable subscription. But I have been trying it now. Like, okay, it's the everything app. Let me just use the ESPN app and see how it goes. It will. I think I talked before about how it wasn't showing, because ESPN had all the division or the wild card series from the baseball playoffs. So there'd be 4 games in a day. It would show a game as upcoming, but not let you click on it until it started. But if the 2 games overlapped, you had to try to guess which tile had the game, because they would start it on a different network on cable, right? They'd put it on ESPN too.
Okay. Real quick, that seems like such a trivial detail, but entire game franchises have been built on a miniature gambling mini game mechanic. And the one I'm thinking of, in this case, you're having to play a painful gambling game of, do I click at the one thing? And then, and you, the payoff is minor, but it reminds me of in Gears of War, if you exactly timed the double tap of your reload, you got a brief bonus on there, only you're having the world's worst version of that.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I should be able to do is say, I want to watch the Dodgers game, and it hasn't started yet. So let me say, please tell me when the Dodgers game starts, and I'm going to watch the Cubs game until that happens. Or let me watch the Cubs game until it ends and then take me right into the Dodgers game. That's how I would do it on my own on cable, right? I would either switch over when it was time, or I'd watch one and know that the other one would start already in progress. It didn't do either of those things. It didn't let me have it tell me when the game had started. It didn't even let me find where the game was when it had started. And it didn't automatically take me from the previous game to the new game. I had to leave that game, find the chiclet that was finally there for the game that was happening, click on that. Now you could say, oh, that's just a weird thing because they had all 4 games, except when I went to watch the Blues opening game of the NHL season, it didn't even show up, even though I have a setting in the ESPN app that says the St. Louis Blues are one of my favorite teams. I had to search for it in the search bar to make it come up, and then I could find it. On the other hand, HBO Max has the Division series now for the National League because they air them on TNT. I go to HBO Max, the first slide. Oh, here's the Dodgers game. We know you like the Dodgers. I press watch. It says, oh, There's another game already in progress, the Other Division series, but don't worry, we will take you right into the Dodgers game as soon as we're done. And I'm like, great, that's all I wanted. Thank you, HBO Max.
Yeah.
If you got
Seems
something we
like-
should be on the lookout for. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. So we're getting into shopping season, Brian, and I know you got all kinds of cool stuff stocked up in your store. Tell us about it.
Dude, we finally have. So we announced it about a year ago, and we had pre-orders for Ballyhoo, our latest puzzle box. This is the big one, and it has been miserable to not be able to tell people about it because I haven't had them in stock. Because as I'm a big fan of explaining to everybody in the operation, we sell products, not promises. No more pre-orders, no more explaining why it's not this week or that week or whatever. So guess what we have now? We've got, hold on, here we go. Let me hit you with this animated GIF that shows.
Baby.
I told Ryer, I was like, hey man, just when you're about to package them all, just run around with it. Ryer had his dad walk around and take these shots. I actually recorded a video just saying, all you got to do is dangle your camera down, move it like this, and I'll take care of everything else. And so this shot was as Ryer was applying the last layer of lacquer on there. He got it on there. They're in stock. They're great. If you guys haven't bought one of the puzzle boxes from Scam Stuff, that's gear for the modern rogue, then we've gone above and beyond this year. It's a lockable box that I recommend at least one person actually know the mechanism so that nobody has a frustrating time opening it. So either your spouse or you, or if you're giving it to someone, you could kind of know what's on there. Takes about 5 minutes with a little bit of guidance to get it open. After that, it's deeply satisfying to lock and unlock. Inside, you'll get 4 matching quarters, which is important. They have to be matching eagle quarters to go with the jumbo
For
quarter.
$1.
So you get $1 back. That's literally what's weird is I have to tax deduct that $1 that I'm giving to everyone. Yeah, right. I mean, it's an expense.
Yeah.
A premium deck of cards, and most importantly, a USB stick with 150 tutorials on there, and even better, privileged secret entrance to the Roustabout Society. A very, very important, august, austere place. Let me put it this way. Hey, Tom,
Yeah.
it'd be great if you're teaching magic. Wouldn't it be neat if you could give examples of things and you didn't have to deal with, I don't know, content ID? Wouldn't that be neat?
That'd be super neat.
I bet that you could teach some really good, important magic lessons. Anyway, that's the kind of thing that happens in a private, a private club, the Roustabout Society.
Fantastic.
Anyway,
How do I get this?
scamstuff.com. Scamstuff.com. We've got about less than 200 now, but I said we weren't going to launch it till we had 200 in stock. So there's still over 100 as we record this. They will get there. They will get there in days. If you order right now, scamstuff.com. And we've got a general admission one that's only $125 and is the most off the charts value because all the values on the inside on there. The VIP one looks exquisite and you get even more bonus exclusive stuff. That one's $250, but they're all great. Ryer has worked all year on this. I cannot emphasize it enough. And the only thing more important than this message is Eric Romney in the chat asking the real questions. Why is it Tom and Brian more popular on YouTube? We're working on it. Step 1, start appearing on the Modern Rogue instead of on the Cord Killers channel. Step 2, that's you. Show up every single week at this time. We're going to make our live scene the place to be. We're consolidating.
Yeah. Because of you, Eric. That's why we will become more popular. So thank you.
Yeah, we were on the fence, but now we're going to do it.
Let's move on to scan the horizon, shall we?
Send a scanning crew aboard.
Scanning the horizon!
So this is somewhat unhappily. A press release was put out about the F1 movie which was a huge hit in theaters for Apple and is coming to streaming December 12th. So if you are an Apple TV Plus subscriber, you will get the F1 movie on December 12th. However, it won't be called Apple TV Plus, apparently, because in the press release, they had the following sentence: Apple TV Plus is now simply Apple TV with a vibrant new identity. They haven't changed the name anywhere else. Go to Apple TV Plus website, it says Apple TV Plus. Apple has not commented on this, which is actually not very out of character. They never comment on anything. We are seeing that Apple TVs are going out of stock on the Apple Store and in Apple stores in person. So maybe a new Apple TV is coming and they're holding off with the rest of this announcement to go with that later this month. But yeah, I guess it's the end of Plus for Apple TV anyway.
I don't hate that because Plus implied that you already have an Apple TV. Wouldn't you like it to be more and better of it?
Right.
But now they have a few very big wins, very big awards under their belt. And now the Plus has come to mean over the last few years kind of a cheapening. Like if I told you, hey, there's a big disaster, I need you to tune the channel for important wildfire-related news. Are you going to tune to CNN or CNN Plus? Are you going to, or it's like, hey, you catch my point.
Yeah.
I kind of don't hate them dropping the Plus.
ESPN dropped the Plus for, when it made the big service. So now it's just ESPN and more ESPN. I can't remember. They have another name for what the ESPN Plus content was, but it's just an add-on basically.
Yeah. What's next? Are they going to drop the Max in HBO Max?
However, when I'm talking about the app or the device or the streaming service, they're all using the same name. So now I have to do English gymnastics to say. Oh
yeah. Now you have to say the Apple TV box.
Yeah. The Apple TV streaming service, the Apple TV app. We're also going to have to do that with Instagram. Apparently, according to Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, they are exploring a dedicated TV app, and it would take the existing vertical video content and put it to work on television because they think that can happen. He's also interested in licensing live sports or other exclusive content from Hollywood.
I wonder if some creative design work couldn't make vertical video play in a widescreen format. For example, given that it's sort of a waterfall experience, what if you were watching the left side while you watch the right side queue up and get ready?
Sure.
And then your attention pivoted. I suspect that a lot of the hate for vertical video on landscapes it needs to be fixed. I think that there are some clever things that can happen.
Sure. I think what it is more than that, though, is people just don't want to watch short videos on their television. When they sit down to their television, they want to watch something a little longer than a minute or two because it's work to watch short videos. You have to swipe. You have to use the remote. And I think people tend to just want to be like, let me put something on. And then every once in a while I might change it.
Well, if it's a channel, then it could be hyper targeted.
If it automatically changes the shorts for you, then I could see that.
And also there's different, like sometimes you want visual noise. I know that Atmosphere's Chive TV is too good. Like you've been there, as there's one direction I sit at the sports bar so that it's not possible for my eyes to run across the Chive because it's too addictive. Yeah. And I could see. But something like that for people, as people get comfortable with sort of just keeping up, like for example, try this on for size. Right now, you and I do you post a lot on your Instagram?
I do. Yeah, I post every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
Okay. I don't because it's just one more thing. Well, I take it back. No, Modern Road does show up. Never mind. I take it all back.
Here, let me just throw this out. TikTok tried to make a TV app and didn't get any uptake. Twitter tried to make a TV app, didn't get any uptake. I think Instagram previously tried to make a TV app and didn't get any uptake. So I'm not saying it can't work, but they have to come up with something new like what you're talking about for this to work. And it's interesting that he's talking about live sports because I'm like, so Instagram is kind of similar to YouTube, Or is it Adam Mosseri going, Instagram took on Snapchat and took on TikTok and we were able to imitate them. Let's imitate YouTube. Like maybe they're just going to do vertical and landscape videos on the Instagram TV app. Maybe they're coming for YouTube, and that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Charter Communications has launched its first app store as part of a big push to promote its broadband and video services as an offering that is not just cable channels, but an easy way to access streaming platforms. The most interesting part about this is not for people who have cable TV. Of course, they're going to have an app store because they're going to want to say like, hey, you already pay us for TV. Now get your Netflix from here, et cetera, et cetera. But trying to market it to internet-only customers. If you're a Spectrum Internet customer, you can use this app store and then have your billing all go through your Spectrum bill. I think that is another interesting play.
Yeah. I don't have enough to contribute on that.
Well, okay then. Warner Brothers Discovery has rejected a takeover offer of around $20 per share from David Ellison's Paramount Skydance as too low. This is Bloomberg citing anonymous sources. That's not a no.
Yeah. That is interesting. I guess we'll see. We'll see. This is some Game of Thrones stuff.
Yeah. It tells me that Warner Brothers is fine selling itself to Skydance. It just needs to have or Paramount Skydance. It just needs to have the right amount. And finally, DirecTV partnering with Glance to add screensavers to its Gemini Air hardware that lets you put yourself, your family members, your pets into the screensaver, Sora style. You can also shop for items in the screensavers, like the furniture you're sitting at in the virtual environment or the clothes they make your avatar wear. You can go, hey, those look pretty good on me. I'd like to buy that, please.
Yeah, I think that we're at the beginning of something very, very strange. And we'll save more of the Sora talk for our patrons who get our exclusive After Talk segment. Thank you very much, patrons. But consider the following. Here's my radio tease, Tom. I think video itself maybe just got broken. I think that we're back to the days of pre-media full stop, like maybe 100 years before, because there's going to be the most popular program won't be the same program for any two people. It will look different to every two people. Even advertising, the notion of advertising is about to like trackable views. What does that mean? That's a low fidelity proxy. The real thing is if everybody's humming that song, or if everybody's making that joke that you invented, or if everybody, I don't know. I think everything's about to change, and this is just a little dip of the toe into where we're headed. I don't think anybody's going to love or do this, but I think it's a harbinger of what we're about to see.
Yeah. No, it's the feature that doesn't catch on, but paves the way for the one that eventually does. All right, let's move on to the chatter or le chatter.
Got mail.
Cordkillers@gmail.com is our email address. Josh wrote in to say, yes, that was me, your patron, making Brian extol the virtues of pineapple pizza, and I'm not sorry.
That was just before we went live. If you guys missed it, the Sora, you have a cameo avatar that other people can manipulate, including, by the way, on the plus side, I now have a defense. Like any video of me doing any crime ever,
There was a cameo.
Yeah, come on, Your Honor. Look at this. I mean, oh, by the way, I love the fact that the meme took off. Not only did they have me falsely defending Hawaiian pizza, but they also, I made it worse. I was like, throw pickles on there too, sure. Ranch dressing and the whole thing.
Why not? You could play this game too. I also like the one BioCow made of us trying to do the Who's on First skit, but then I just refused to play along. You're like, who's on first? I'm like, who? You already told me his name's who, and I just walk away.
Well, so this is what I'm super, we'll talk about this in After Talk, I swear. Like, I'm fascinated by Sora's subconscious and just kind of what it vaguely knows, because even if you give it certain prompts, it will, like, for example, I don't think it's entirely a coincidence that in a generic prompt of Brian and Bonnie have 2 dogs. One of the dogs gets called Penny. Now, I don't think I'm just seizing on no.
Did you make the check mark that says you can include my ChatGPT history when you create my Saurus?
I don't remember.
Ah, okay. Because you can, it's default checked off. So if you don't remember, you probably didn't.
But think about this, and this is more after talk stuff. Sora and GPT is the closest we're going to get to actual telepathy. Like already, 5 years ago, there was no way for me to know what the outside world thought of Brian Brushwood. But now I can say, hey, be somebody in my demographic and speak for them, and it'll get it pretty right.
Now I want to make a Sora where Brian sits down and talks to a physical representation of his entire audience about what they think of him and see what it puts out.
Let's do that. By the way, think about, and we have talked about that on this show. That would be a Nielsen coup. What if a focus group could be assembled? Like it's got all the data on all the people. Like, quick, give me 150 people. Let me talk to them. Let me get the focus group. Let me hold the vibes in my head of what these fans are saying.
And then Marlon wrote in and said, after hearing the question this week about the website and how out of date it was, I thought you should know that the Cord Killers website is still being promoted on your YouTube channel with this statement: subscribe, get expanded show notes and past episodes at cordkillers.com. I do not find that YouTube shows all the shows as they are posted, so I also check tommerritt.com. For some reason, the full experience shows don't show up on YouTube sometimes. An RSS feed would sure help us find out when shows are posted. So 2 things. 1, go check cordkillers.com again, Marlon and everybody else, because Amos did some vibe coding over the weekend, and everything that you can find easily is there. So the cordkillers.com website is up to date and is the place to subscribe and get expanded show notes and past episodes. Once again, well done, Amos and ChatGPT.
Huzzah!
Well done. Yay!
Yeah, that was the whole reason I put that email in there, is because I knew that had happened.
And then as for the full experience not showing up on YouTube sometimes, I don't know why that would happen. Perhaps it is just that you're not realizing that it's delayed, like it shows up later, or maybe it's just an accident and something didn't get posted, which could happen to an RSS feed as well. Amos, do you want to shine any light on that?
Yeah, typically me forgetting to go through and make it public from the private version.
Okay.
It stays private for a couple of days for the patrons and stuff. But
Gotcha. Okay. So, but it'll eventually make it there.
Yeah,
so.
and you're looking at a solution for that as well. So that's when Tom and I talked a little while ago.
It's getting better.
Yeah, it is. And thank you, Marlon, for taking our feet and approaching a fire and then just holding those feet there. That is appreciated.
Tootsies were cold.
Yeah. Our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. And we are live, twitch.tv/Night Attack and youtube.com/Modern Rogue, Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I reckon
Be there.
We'll talk to you next time.
Be there
See you
live.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Yeah, baby. Speaking of that full
We
experience, we're going to do it shortly.
Yeah. I'm going to get more coffee.
Here he comes. Here comes Speed Racer.
It's a good reminder to update my banner.
He's a demon. We are just going to talk about The Great Plan Part 1. We did not watch Part 2 because we are watching the first episode, and Part 2 was not the first episode. So there, and it never was. Sometimes we get caught in these situations where in syndication they split the first episode into 2, and then we have to decide, well, I guess we're going to watch the first 2 episodes because they originally aired as 1 episode. But that was not the situation with The Great Plan. As far as we know, it aired separately. In fact, I want to just confirm that on series graph. Speed Racer, he's a demon on wheel. I wish I still had my
It is Part 1, not Part I, right?
Part 1. Yes, The Great Plan Part 1. It is the number 1. And then The Great Plan Part 2 aired September 20. Wait, they all aired September 23rd? Oh, shoot. Looks like part 2 also aired September 23rd. So maybe they did air them both at the same time.
Then they screwed up their naming, and we're fine. We're good with it.
Yeah, whatever. We only watched part 1, so there. What you see is true. Yeah, no, it looks like they would air 2 episodes at a time. So Challenge of the Maxed Racer also both aired on September 30th, but they're 2 separate episodes.
Does it say where it aired? Was it specifically those American dates?
Say.
Or
I don't think these are the Japanese airings because these are the English versions of the show.
Right. So I'm wondering if it came out in Japan like a year prior, and then they
probably
gave them the possibility to bunch them together to fill a full an hour.
No,
block.
I imagine they probably showed these on Saturday morning, and they showed them one after the other.
Yeah. And I remember it from Nickelodeon early mornings as I was getting ready for high school.
I remember them from Saturday mornings, but in like 1973.
Let's do them in the show.
We were doing research and waiting for you to get back, so I'm ready.
Coffee time research hour.
It's an hour of it.
3, 2. Welcome, my friends, to the full experience. We are kicking off a brand new watch. This is the show that tries to capture the essence of a television series by watching but 4 episodes. The first, the ultimate, the lowest, and the last. Ultimate based on the IMDb ranking, and lowest also based on the IMDb ranking. And we are beginning our adventure with Speed Racer, Episode 1, The Great Plan, Part 1, which first aired in the United States, September 23rd, 1967. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Hey, man, and most importantly, we got to give shouts out to Dylan Theus in the chat, who's actually watching along with us. Not only do we want people to show up live when we do the show, but also watching along with us makes it so much more better because now you're not just taking our words for it. Now you get to write us angry emails about the clever things,
all the stuff
that
we were
missed.
wrong about. Yeah. Exactly. The Great Plan Part 1 and Part 2 both aired on September 23rd, 1967, but they are separate episodes. It's not like, as far as I can tell, they didn't just split them in half for syndication. It was a regular thing they did. We were speculating before the show that they probably just aired these back to back in the U.S. because these were originally created in Japan before they aired in the U.S. So it was probably just the way they were packaged. However, we made the determination we only watched The Great Plan Part 1. We did not watch The Great Plan Part 2. It was hugely nostalgic for me, Brian, because I adored this series when I was a kid. I think I mentioned before I used to sing the theme song in my sleep, according to my parents. I wanted to dress as Speed Racer for Halloween. They couldn't find a costume for me in 1974 or whenever it was. So I took a football helmet that I had for my Halloween costume and drew an M on it, like it was the Mach 5 helmet that Speed wore. And so all of this took me back from the beginning. And actually seeing the lyrics, I was like, oh, I don't think I ever knew that was the actual lyric. I've been singing it wrong this whole time in my head.
Did you, well, I guess first question, I assume the song was in Japan as well?
I don't know. I know there's like 1,000 anime experts out there who are answering this question loudly at their podcasting app.
This is one of those things. I meant to do more research going into this full experience than I had time to do today. Well, because it wouldn't surprise me, and I wonder how much of the show's success is because of its catchy theme song.
I imagine a lot. It is a very catchy theme song. However, it also just got good animation for the time. Like, it looks cool. All the characters look cool and different. The car, I think, still looks futuristic, even in 2025. Like, I know that is based on a very old-fashioned model of race car because that's what the other race cars look like. But the Mach 5 still, it looks pretty sleek to me.
That opening segment or the opening credit sequence is fantastic. It blew my mind. So I watched with my daughter, 12-year-old daughter, Callie, and I pitched it as, and I think give or take, that's right, like basically America's first anime. Like, and by the way, anime as defined as an import from Japan. I think around that time, maybe. I don't know if that's precisely true, but I know that by the time I was, one of my earliest memories would have been around 1979, seeing Speed Racer. I definitely remember exactly where I was for it. So it was also hugely nostalgic for me, but it was really fun to have a little bit of cultural awareness and production vision. That moment that Speed Racer jumps out of the Mach 5 in the opening sequence, and you see bullet time visualized in 2D cells. Was anybody doing that? Had anybody done that?
I don't know, but I can answer your other question now about the music.
Oh, sure.
It was the same melody, but the Japanese arrangement was different and sounded more Western. Whereas the English language version was arranged to sound like a surf tune.
Ah, yeah. The theme itself, I've heard it played more like surf tunes in all of the covers that I heard.
Yeah,
Listening to the original,
that makes sense.
It had a little more swinging.
It was leaning that
50s
way. Yeah.
rock.
Right. But yeah, the animation is great. The plot, not so much. What did your daughter make of the gaping plot holes?
Let me stick to the praise for a bit.
Okay.
Let me enjoy it while it's here. The sequence is amazing. The way it gets totally rubbery with these over the top. Here's a fun game: is when you're watching an animation, realize that somebody has to make an aesthetic choice of what lens they're going to emulate in order to create certain shots. And so I spent a lot of time not paying attention to the kind of lenses and production stuff. Lately, I do a lot more of that. But this goes so funhouse mirror with the type of lenses that it does that it kind of breaks your brain of even playing that game. Like nothing makes sense because it's all rubbery on there. I dug that aspect of it. I also dug a bold move to hide the plans in the windshield of a car, a breakable thing that is currently not on your person out there.
Yeah. And is meant to be part of a car that could crash.
Right. And then double bold take as a scriptwriter to just say, and have Speed Racer say, look, he's after the car. I bet that the plans are invisibly on the
I am so
windshield.
smart. I have figured it out. The plans must be invisibly stored on the windshield. Why else would they be after the car?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it wasn't the only plot hole. A lot of exposition in Speed Racer that again, as a 6 or 7 year old, I didn't care. That's my real takeaway, is that this clearly was targeted towards kids. This was not meant to also appeal to adults, although maybe adults would like it because of the imagery and the racing and all that, but it is not meant to be a sophisticated story. He's a great racer, but also you can't lose with the car. Like they undermined him immediately. Like, you're such a great racer, but also you couldn't lose with that car, could you?
Well, it's funny.
You had it wrapped up in the second lap, but also we just saw him nose ahead at the very end. Like, there's all kinds of little stuff like that.
Well, and we've talked on this program about the monomyth quite a bit, and I can't help but wonder, okay, well, who's the low status protagonist that's on their journey, that steps out of their comfort zone? And the answer is his dad. His dad is the one working inside of a stilted operation who had a dream and is making a bold vision.
And apparently they let him keep the car.
I thought that was kind of a unexpected twist.
Yeah. Also, mom is not worried about all the money they lost from, this is not a like, oh my God, your father lost his job. What are we going to do? She's like, it'll be fine. Where are you going to get money for parts though? That's what I'm worried about. The Mach 5 apparently is speeds to drive around.
I
Because
guess.
he just like Dad doesn't even say like, do you
I
know,
believe
he
that's
needs
the
permission.
international law of finders and or keepers. Finders v. keepers, 1966.
We also get Skullduggery. We just get him referred to as Duggery, showing up on the test track. G. James B. pointing out that it was actually revealed to be named Skullduggery. The names, of course, are ridiculous. Ace Ducey, Van Ruffle. But we got all the tropes, all the Speed Racer tropes you think of. Sprite and Chim Chim hide in the trunk. Mom makes cookies. Trixie's in a helicopter. There are malicious black race cars. The only one we didn't see was Racer X. And spoiler if you've never seen the series before, that's a character that I'm curious how and if we get to meet Racer X during the full experience.
I did like some of the little bits of business, some of the, there's classic kind of almost vaudevillian bits to wedge in. And one of them was, the bad guy on a motorcycle gets broken. He's on a unicycle now.
Yeah. There's some comedic elements there. I thought the Mach 5 was faster than all other cars, but then other cars seemed to pass it during the race.
They have a bit of a Superman problem.
Yeah.
And I suspect that if it were being made now today, they would maybe have the dad confused why the car doesn't win every race, and Speed confused why he doesn't win every race. And maybe they have to realize that both the car is flawed in some way and Speed is flawed in some way.
Well, and they have it built
now,
into the plot, right? Because Dad was like, I have an improvement to the Mach 5 that will make it even better. And the company's like, no, it's a waste of money. And that could be the trope, right? Is like, the Mach 5, it can at times be the fastest car. But if I fix that one design flaw like I want to, it will be the fastest car all the time.
James B has my favorite part of this episode. Boy, do they kill a lot of people.
A lot of fatal crashes.
Boy, do they not care. Just there's one car that goes flying all the way into the clouds, lands, and just vividly explodes. I'm sure it looked great on 1966 full-color televisions.
Yep.
Not a lot of hurt feelings.
No. Everything is made of rubber and great POVs. Like you were saying, the perspective, they don't care. They're just going to give you the best POV they can, no matter what. Amos, you just watched this right before we recorded. What did you think?
So, I got 3 takeaways. One, you notice they showed people getting hurt, but not the actual act of hurting them.
Right. Yes.
So the fight scenes, like it showed the result of the people getting.
They want to be. They want to be able to still air on Saturday morning. Yeah.
Right.
Wait, didn't we see somebody get hit in the head with a freaking wrench?
Yeah, but you don't see it. You don't see blood spurt out or anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just see him fall down.
But during the fight in the cave, like when Dad gets jumped, all the people are like flying against the walls and stuff, but you don't actually see Dad throwing them or punching them or anything.
Right.
How nostalgic was it to see to hear the theme music and hear the voices and all that? That was great. That was great. My favorite part about this was how they played with perspective through an art scale, how you go from a side view to a top view on a car while it's traveling, and you're not just going like scrolling up, you're actually like following the car a little bit and coming up around it to look at it from above. That was very interesting. I didn't realize that was even part of it when I was younger, but now looking at that and knowing how hard perspective can be to duplicate in a 2-dimensional space for an artist, that's just fantastic. I love that.
And that's
related to the bullet time thing, but yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, I think, Amos, that you're tickling at a similar thought that I was having, where it's like clearly they know what they're doing on these highly technical shots. Then that would imply that it's an intentional decision that all of the matte paintings are, kind of ridiculous. And they also did some of the stuff where you could tell that the matte painting, starts up at one part and travels all the way down. I don't know.
I imagine it's the sophistication of the audience that they're like, nobody notices matte paintings. It's 1968 or 67 or whatever, right? And so they're not worried about that. Everyone focuses on the thing in the foreground because your TV's 11 inches big.
Also, I don't know any other cars that go every gear.
Every car does that, as far as I know.
Every car does it every
because
gear.
I grew up watching this, so I assume every car does that, even though I've never actually heard them do that.
Going from first to second.
Yeah.
As long as we're beefing, it was a bit just white noise of the kid yelling at some point. Like it got to be like 10 full seconds of somebody screaming into a mic, and I was like, eh.
Yeah. And again, when you're a kid, you don't care.
Judy. Yeah,
Right,
correct.
Yeah. This is clearly made for kids. It holds up in style, but not in substance, is how I would put it. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep, that sounds right.
Well, that is the first episode. We are about to embark on the ultimate episode, the best possible episode of Speed Racer. If any episode of Speed Racer can address our shortcomings, it will be season 1, episode 20, The Fastest Car on Earth, part 1.
Yay, another part 1.
That is,
To be honest, wait, yeah, I'm okay with all of that.
Yeah, I actually thought the cliffhanger ending at this was really good, which is one of the reasons I'm convinced it was meant to be, shown as 2 separate episodes where you have a cliffhanger going.
I really enjoyed the voiceover though. Like it wasn't just like a to be continued or next time. Like they came out and said it. It was.
I have a question. How did you guys watch it?
I don't remember. I mean, I remember how I watched it. I went to the Apple TV app. I searched Speed Racer, found episode 1, pressed play, and it played. What service? Think maybe it was Amazon Prime Video?
I'm pretty sure it was Amazon Prime, and I know for sure it was Amazon Prime, but I'm pretty sure that I just said I wanted to just kind of roll the dice. We talked about the strange mini game of hoping it works. I rolled the dice on just saying, hey, A word, not the other A word, show season 1, episode 1 of Speed Racer, and it just bloop, bloop, there it was.
I want to reprogram my Amazon Echo to respond to that.
Yeah.
I actually watched it on the Plex TV service.
So
their built-in fast service.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. So not somebody's library where they'd ripped it, but the Plex service that does a free ad-supported stuff.
I went
did
to
you get
just
an ad?
watching. I did. I got several, and honestly, it was refreshing to see ads that aren't on the normal ads I'm seeing on like Peacock and other fast service.
They're differently targeted.
Yeah, that's interesting to see.
Yeah,
mine are all about Prop 50 these days. That's the only ad I see anyway. So.
Of course.
All right. Well, that is it for the full experience. Thank you, folks, for following along, racing along with us as we watch Speed Racer. Again, next episode is The Fastest Car on Earth, episode 20, part 1. We will talk to you about the ultimate episode next time. See you then.
And with that, we bid the audience adieu.
Adieu.
We'll see you guys next week. We are going to be live with Night Attack or Great Night in about an hour from now.
NSFW show and the BB Live show start shortly.
Yep.